Buck looked up from where he'd been chewing on some rawhide. One of his ears flopped back as he barked.
"It's Beth. We're going to her house."
Buck hopped up, tongue lolling, big goofy grin on his face.
"Yeah, easy for you. But she's my best friend's little sister. The guy doesn't go there."
Buck sighed before he snorted and walked to the door, waiting, doing that little dance of his. He would have spoken to Virginia about this in the past, but that wouldn't be so easy now. First, she lived in Dallas. Second, when they'd gone from friends to lovers, the transition back had been rocky and pretty much impossible. He'd tried to tell her it wouldn't work before they gave in and had sex, but he thought with his dick, and she was an adult, and they had some chemistry, but after a few weeks it had sputtered out, and they'd never really been the same. So he couldn't call her to talk about another woman, especially when what he felt for Beth was far more than sexual curiosity. He wasn't that great at dealing with women, but he knew the one you broke up with doesn't want to hear about how a new one is something you'd never experienced before. He could talk to his best guy friend, but that happened to be Beth's older brother. Not a good idea. Buck barked again, scratching the door.
"Fine, but this is your fault."
He grabbed a bowl and some food, and they headed back over to Beth's. She opened the door with a smile and then grinned to Buck. "Come on in." Joe allowed himself to take a good look, both at her and her apartment. It was warm, framed pictures all over the place. This was a woman who loved people, and who was loved in return.
Lots of pictures."
He indicated her walls. She nodded.
"I like being surrounded by people who make me happy."
Her living room had a sliding glass door leading to a small patch of grass. She had a table and a few chairs with a big umbrella out there.
How long have you lived here?"
Let's see, 3 years now. I used to live in an apartment my landlord owns. I had my eye on this place a while." She shrugged. "When it opened up, I grabbed it. Tate is forever on me about buying my own place."
Roots are important."
She snorted. "Yeah, for Tate, they're everything. Want a beer?" He nodded. "My yard is fenced if Buck wants to wander out and sniff stuff." He watched as she bent to grab the beer from her fridge. His whole body hardened. Buck wandered over to see what she was up to. She spoke to him absently as she cracked the bottles open. He held up a bag.
"I brought ice cream sandwiches."
Her smile shot through him, pulling him closer. "You did? I love ice cream sandwiches." Buck barked. She frowned down at him. "Not for you, Buck. You'll get sick." He snorted.
"He's a pig. You can't tell him no 'cause he doesn't care. I brought his bowls, but I'll keep him outside so he doesn't get food on your floor."
She laughed.
"Do you feed him outside at your place?"
"No, but we have company manners." She bent and pulled out a placemat. "I've got toddlers over here quite often. They're worse, I bet. We'll put the bowls on this." Once she'd fussed around and Buck had pigged out, and Joe and the dog both knew they'd just eaten at home. They settled in on her comfortable couch. She clinked her bottle to his. "Cheers."
"Why'd you stay in Petal?"
He'd asked it so suddenly it surprised them both.
"I mean, you didn't have the best childhood here."
She shrugged.
"I didn't, but Petal isn't about my parents."
No, but he'd noted the look in Dolly's eyes when she'd taken Beth in. The thing about travel, even to dangerous shitholes where people shot at him all day long, was that he could see where he came from more clearly. Petal was a good place in many ways, but divisions existed, class mainly, though certainly race as well. "At first, I stayed because I didn't have the means to go anywhere else. I had an accounting job, and it was good enough to get me some health care and to pay rent. Tate and Ann started the salon, and they needed some more capital. I bought in, my brothers started having babies, and then I couldn't leave, or how could I see those kids as often as I want to? Tate got married and had babies, and she's my touchstone. I could move a few towns over. I worked in Riverton a while before I came to the shop, but I think I stayed as a big middle finger to the people who made fun of us because of our clothes and our parents.